And we are back to the tavern, my friends. Welcome in Tavernside Talks. It's been a week or two or whatever. You know, life gets busy. You know, things happen, and so sadly, sometimes consistency is not always something we can provide. But we are here tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging. We got Nox back. I moved, as you might be able to tell. My background is a little different. So that's why we waited.
Yeah.
We're getting him ready. And so we have Nox back in the tavern, which is always a joy to have him here. If you want to pet him, there actually is a command for it. I'm going to actually do it real quick. That way he can get all the love from the gamers. Anyway, but yeah, tonight we'll be continuing our Bastions run through. We should be able to finish all the rooms tonight and then get to like some of the ladder mechanics and then go through some cantrips and Gandalf the Flabulous. Did you change your name?
I did.
I did. Wait, it was Sloppy Ho because Wood Thruster was your Sea of Thieves.
Look, I have a litany of aliases.
All right, yeah, I started keeping them all down sometimes, but yeah. All right, let's just jump right in. I think we ended last time on the room Sanctum we read through, and so next we will be going to Scriptorium. So let's just jump right into this. I'll hit it real quick. Scriptorium, level 9 Bastion facility. Also, if you're mad confused as to what we're going through, we have YouTube videos going through the other kind of the various other rooms, the core mechanics of Bastions. Long story short, Bastions is your house in D&D, and they've gone through and created a bunch of rooms you can put in your house. So that's where we're at. Scriptorium, level 9 Bastion facility. Prerequisite none. Space roomy. Hirelings 1. Order craft 1d6. Virus protection. A Scriptorium contains desks and writing supplies. When you issue the craft order to this facility, choose one of the following options. It contains desks and writing supplies. Okay. Craft a book replica. You commission the facilities hirelings to make a copy of a non-magical book. Doing so requires a blank book. The work takes 7 days. What the fuck?
I mean, back in the day, copying books like that could take years, depending on what's happening.
Well, no, at first I read it, so I thought literally it meant like replicating a blank book, and then I realized you need a blank book for it to replicate into. So I was like, oh, but for a second I was like, why? Okay. Craft paperwork. You have bureaucracy. You commission the facility's hirelings to create up to 50 copies of a broadsheet. Oh, this is just Google Docs.
Yeah,
and spreadsheet.
Excel.
Yeah, Excel. A broadsheet, a pamphlet, or another loose leaf paper product. The work takes 7 days and costs you 1 gold.
1 gold piece per
gold
copy.
Piece. Okay, per copy. And no additional cost in time or money. The facility's hirelings can distribute the paperwork to 1 or more locations within 10 miles of a bastion. That's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. If you have certain things you want to do with that. Craft scroll. You commission the facility's hirelings to craft a magic scroll, as described in the Dungeon Master's Guide, or you craft it yourself. In the case of a spell scroll, the spell on the scroll must be one you can prepare. The work takes 7 days. The craft scroll table shows the minimum level one must be to craft a scroll of particular rarity at the cost of the supplies needed. For purposes of crafting scrolls, your hireling's level is half of your level, rounded up. Okay, cool. So you can create scrolls, and then I like when they have tables, and then you're able to, build some shit. It's not just free. It actually has some stipulations and it has some cost to it. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and that's it. So then Smithy is next. So, I mean,
it's there. It is there.
It is there. I mean, my mind like kind of wanders. I kind of like the paperwork idea, and the reason why at face value all of these are kind of like boo boo, but I like the paperwork one because you could kind of have like maybe plot threads where maybe this is a relevant piece where you need to maybe distribute information or you need to create certain things, which I think would be kind of cool. And I do like the fact that they have the scrolls, because I feel like spell scrolls aren't necessarily always pertinent in games, and so it's kind of cool that you can use some of your resources, especially at higher levels, to create spells through scrolls.
The only thing that came to mind is, as we talked about, using your battle pass points to make yourself come back from the dead, having your statues of yourself, create infinite money and all that. using your battle pass points to, you know, spread your own fame and valor. You can also send out pamphlets talking about how bitchin' it was to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You can do that.
It's true.
So, aside from that, it's fine. I feel like a scriptorium, and that's kind of a lot of the issues I have with a lot of the crafting things, is I don't see an incentive to craft a scroll in your scriptorium instead of just crafting a scroll like anywhere else. I don't know the traditional rules on it, but it just seems like, oh, you have an option to craft a scroll, and you also can have a hireling do it at a lower ceiling of ability.
Yeah,
yeah. Cost a lot of money. A second, Pink Floyd is getting very loud right now.
The problem with it too, with a lot of the like crafting in these buildings, is like, okay, you can get something that's pretty good and you can have your dudes be doing it, or you can be stuck at home for 7 days, which for the most part you're not going to be visiting your bastion for super long periods of time.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh yeah, I'd love to craft a legendary scroll, which would be cool. And, you know, there could be story points where you're like, I'm going to spend a bunch of time and a shitload of gold to do this. But for the most part, you're going to be like, yeah, man, I need a rare scroll. Anyways, here you go, hirelings. Here's a piece of paper. Have fun, man. I'll be back for this.
You slap down the piece of paper in the magical quill. You say, all right, get to work, slave.
Get to work, bro. Whoa, we like to use the
word. You're paid
word.
by the taxes on this property. It's like, excuse me? But you're the ruler. You abolish taxes. It's like, all right. Anyways.
We feed you, man.
Yeah.
I also like that, like, my mind instantly went to like one of those like back in the day where like the big typewriter rooms where they have like 50 typewriters and everyone's just like typing away. Like it says a scriptorium contains desks and writing supplies. So you just have like 50 people on typewriters typing
one hireling. You have one desk, one writing. He said, I don't know why it's roomy. It's just a dude. You can use a supply closet. It's like, hey, Oracle, how you doing on those pamphlets? And he's just like, there was a spelling error. I noticed 25 copies in. It's like, chop, chop. Let's keep it coming.
Yeah, you're like, all right, no rations for next day until you have it fixed. See ya.
Yeah.
And you lock the fucking like 7 padlocks you have on the door.
I just like the idea of just like being a deranged boss. It's like, did you finish that poster? It's like, yeah, sure. And you like pick it up. It's like, do you have mending? It's like, no, just rip it in half. It's like, shit, start over.
Yeah. Yeah, you depicted the wrong person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to look 3 times as buff as that. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I need a bigger handlebar mustache.
We all do.
All right, well, Scriptorium, yeah. On to Smithy.
I'm excited to read
Go ahead.
how this could possibly disappoint me. But level 5 Bastion, prerequisite fighting style feature or unarmored defense feature. Space early, hirelings 2, order craft, battle pass points or whatever. This smithy contains a forge, an anvil, and other tools needed to craft weapons and tools. Were you gonna say something, Logan, or were you just adding the battle pass? Okay. we're just jumping in on how excited we are about the battle pass.
We love the fucking battle pass.
When you issue the craft order, choose one of the following options. And the craft order, I think, is something you have to do when you're at home anyway, because I think otherwise you can only do the maintain order. So by the way, all these crafting things, I think you can only do if you're there.
No, hold on, let's see. I think
It's like all. It's like
a Bastion turn occurs every 7 days of in-game time, though the DM can alter that. On Bastion turns, a character can issue orders to the special facilities in their Bastion or issue the maintain. So technically, you don't even have to be there.
Okay. I'll check. Okay, I'll check it later. But because I thought it was worse than that, which is fine.
Hold on. The characters are on a long journey away from their Bastions. After the characters have been away for 7 days, you might say time for a Bastion turn. Since you're not there, resolve the maintain order for your Bastions. Then roll for it's like.
Anyways, we love Bastions. Craft ammunition or simple weapon. You commission the facility's hireling to craft up to 20 pieces of ammunition or 1 simple weapon, like a club, which takes 7 days and costs you half the normal price of the ammunition or weapon. You can commission a masterwork simple weapon, which takes 14 days and costs you 800 gold pieces, so like a really good club. A masterwork simple weapon has no special properties until a magic weapon spell is cast on it. When the spell ends, a masterwork weapon retains the magic permanently, becoming a +1 weapon.
Oh.
So.
Interesting.
Okay. Craft armor or equipment. You can commission the facility's hireling to craft you one of the following: a suit of medium or heavy armor, excluding hide, 20 caltrops, a chain, 10 foot, a crowbar, a grappling hook, a hammer, regular or sledge, 4 horseshoes, a hunting trap, a set of manacles, a miner's pick, 10 iron spikes or pittons, an iron pot, a metal shield, or a shovel. Regardless of whichever of those various options you choose, it's going to take 7 days or 21 days for a suit of armor, and the costs you half the item's normal cost. See, I like that because at least it's cheaper, and that's the only thing I like about it so far. Let me finish with martial real quick. You commission the facilities highly to craft a martial weapon, like a sword, which takes 14 days and costs you half the weapon's normal cost, or a masterwork martial weapon, which takes 21 days. It costs you 800. Masterwork behaves the same as the other one, which they can cast magic weapon, and when it ends, it becomes a +1 weapon.
I like how a lot of things are 7 days. Like, oh, I don't know. You can cast like an 8th level spell, like heal or whatever, within 7. You know, like if you take 7 days, or no, hold on. In the Sanctum, if you just take a long rest or some shit in there, yeah, when you finish a long rest in the Sanctum, it lasts for 7 days. You can just cast heal, which is like a 6th level spell. But heaven forbid you want to create a longsword. It takes 14 fucking days to create a fucking longsword.
Right. It's
and there's two hirelings.
But they also can't make hide armor, you know. They're physically incapable of making hide armor for some reason. I don't know.
The weirdest like stipulation. It's like hide armor. No, we don't do that shit.
Yeah, Peter would have our ass.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, our union does not have hide armor.
We have studded leather armor, but we do not have hide.
Yeah, it's pleather. It's studded pleather armor.
Yeah, we have reinforced polyester. We can give you that.
It's a thick shirt.
Masterwork weapons.
Yeah,
it is a weird stipulation that you have to cast magical weapon on it for it to retain the +1 permanently. But I do like that as a thing that you could make, you know, a little bit nicer weapons there.
I like the concept,
you have an entire martial class of just adventurers, not a single fucking spellcaster. You make a bunch of masterwork weapons that are totally useless to you.
Which magic weapon is a level 2 spell, so at level 5.
Oh, it's an actual. Okay.
Yeah.
For like an hour, I think you get +1 to your weapon attacks, and your weapon is considered magical.
Which, a point of order as far as like if you're all martial, chances are one of them might be paladin, and paladin has access to this spell. It's paladin wizard.
I didn't even know this was a fucking spell, so that's cool.
Yeah, because who the fuck would take
never in my life. I've taken it on like a Bladesinger and then never had it shit. Like, I'm like, I have so many other spells that are useful to me. Which
it's also concentration in a martial setting. So
real quick though, it is a bonus action. There is a little bit of redemption.
That's bonus action, but bonus action.
I'm gonna burn a level
concentration, then you just get fucking wallop.
I'm gonna burn a level 2 spell slot for that when I can just smite something's ass for probably the amount of damage I'm gonna get out of that. Anyways, like it's nice for being a level 2 spell due to the fact that like some creatures need magical, like they have magical resistance to anything but magical. There we go. But also, again, if you're using other spells, you overcome that anyways, and so.
Right. The other thing is, there's no masterwork option for armor here. And also, I think if I was if I wanted to use this system because I got hit on the head really hard, I think I might make it so one of the hirelings is just some type of wizard who has the magic weapon spell, my players don't feel the need to take it. So like pretty much he finishes after 21 days. He's like, "You want the spice? Yeah, I want the spice. 50 extra." They just cast it. It's like, give it an hour.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Give it an hour for the runes to set in, and then you're good.
Well, I will say the Smithy. I do like the idea of this being like a cool way to incorporate downtime, like we've mentioned before. I like that you can, like, instead of having necessarily, you know, go to general stores and stock up and stuff, it's kind of cool. You can go back to your facility or your bastion, your house, your home, your stronghold, whatever, and you can be like, hey guys, like, hey hirelings, like I need you guys to build a bunch of shit, like while we're, you know, doing some other stuff maybe. Right. I like the idea of this. I mean, a lot of the core mechanics we disagree with in terms of like bastion turns, the time amount and stuff, but I think like the concept of the Smithy is cool. I think that honestly a lot of these things, I think that a lot of stuff, I think it'd be a little bit more fun if you just literally just make it like a D6 days. And so that way you can be like, hey, you can even like that could even be an RP thing of like, hey, one day your hirelings kicked ass, they were motivated, they got it done in one day. It's 5 days, your hirelings fucked that shit up, they had to do it 4 different times, like you know, it is what it is. And I kind of like that a little bit more about the chance and more of like, hey, okay, that way it's more of a variable than consistently. Like, yeah, 20 caltrops take 7 days. Like, that's dumb. You can like maybe have simple items a D4 days, you know, and then you can list it out like that. I wish that there was a little bit more like a table. I love when they do tables. I wish that there was a table of like a simple weapon, simple items, simple armor, a D4 days, and then you go down from like, you know, you make it like a plate armor, yeah, a D20 days or some shit, you know, whatever it is, or like, you know, 2D whatever. That way there's just more variable, because I feel like that just makes it a little bit more fun. But I do like this concept just in the fact that like you said, the items cost is half. So it's an effective way to kind of, you know, get your, you know, to be able to kind of make things cheaper. But I like when they add cost to things, because I feel like there's just a lot of facilities where it's not balanced. It's just about infinite money glitch and stuff. So I like it when they bring things in that gives you like a bonus, but still costs something, or there's still something that needs to be done. Like, it needs to be an investment of return. It's not just like free shit. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, garden, you just get a magical plant that gives you magical fruit for no fucking reason. It's like, what? So.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. I think as far as cheaper cost is the, I don't know why, I think I could see a player just infinitely creating iron pots ad infinitum every turn. I can see players just like, oh, what'd you do to help the war effort? It's like, I got the cooks fucking locked down. I cornered the market on pottery here.
Oddly enough.
I mean, you ever play Skyrim? You just iron daggers.
Oh yeah, iron daggers.
Infinity and beyond, bro.
Iron daggers based on the system would take 14 days to create.
No, they're simple. Iron daggers is only 7.
I know, a simple weapon which takes 14 days. Oh, sorry, simple weapon. Oh, you're right. I was reading the masterwork section again. So yeah, so it takes 7 days to make an iron dagger. You're right. Unless you count it as ammunition and you make throwing daggers, in which case you get 20 of them.
Oh wait.
If you try to make, if you find a thing in the guide that says it's ammo.
Throwing knives, baby. Different.
That's right. You can either get 20 bolts for your crossbow, or you get 20 hand axes just ready to go.
At least that would like realistically take 7 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool concept, but in the end, you know, as most things for the Bastion, cool concept needs some work.
Maybe I'm just ignorant. Maybe like this whole time I'm always thinking like you have 10 hirelings, and so maybe like, hey, why the fuck would a dagger take 7 days? But 2 hirelings to make a dagger? Like maybe, hold on, I'm Googling it real quick.
7 days? Yeah, Google how long it takes to make
I'm gonna look up how long it takes to make an iron dagger, so that way I can.
It says 7 hours.
How long does it take to make a dagger? Okay, now D&D stuff's just coming up. Let me type in real life.
Yeah, like medieval or something.
Like, contrary to what you may have seen on TV, the average knife takes 15 to 20 hours of work. We hand forge all of our blades and then grind them to refine the shape.
That's a company. That's like fucking Benchmade going.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Medieval times. That's why our knife costs $300.
Medieval times. Let's try this.
Trying to justify their cost with labor.
Okay, usually a sword take about 1 to 2 months to finish.
Okay.
The history.
Daggers are little baby swords you make when you're trying to make the real sword.
In the medieval period, how long would an average swordsmith need to forge an average sword? Based on this question over an RPG, I'm trying to figure out how long it took to forge a sword in the medieval Renaissance smith to make swords. I'm recalling a figure of about 9 to 12 months per sword. Some other references indicate that the katanas we made quicker. My Google foo is bringing up tons on the individual steps. Hammer, blah blah blah. Okay, who responds? The forging of Japanese blades typically took many days or weeks and was considered a sacred art. That's not what I'm asking.
Well, also, like, there's swords. There's like, I'm making a sword for like a baron. I'm making like a baron's like
right, exactly.
Sword. Or it is like, oh, the French are coming. Make us 500 fucking sharp like sticks. Like I guess then you're making spears traditionally.
Right.
But like, yeah, just bust some shit out, dude. Get some sharp metal. Put a handle on it. Leather, sure. Just not sharp metal. Yeah, hold that part.
Right. Right. So it says in medieval Europe, it took a standard blacksmith about a week to make a decent average steel longsword. If they're making something for their lord or king, they would often spend as much as 6 months, ensuring that they had the ornate design perfect. But that's about it. Usually a sword would take about 1 to 2 months to finish. Not because they're spending that long making a sword, but because they'd be making a dozen or more swords at the same time to better make use of their resources. There's a lot of waste when you're smelting metals. Yeah. If you did nothing else, working a full 12-hour day, you could probably make a decent sword in 2 days if you know what you're doing. This depends on the style of sword and the method you're using to make it, but generally most steel swords are made by hammer and grind, heating and folding, or the more advanced technique of splitting into vortices, plating, and welding. The latter method puts a natural fuller into the blade and was a common technique from 6th century onward into Western Europe.
So here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm actually saying. We have a business opportunity to go into whatever butt fucking setting this is, where like the blacksmiths have convinced regular citizens that's how long it takes to make one sword. We know the storehouses is full of extras that they just go in and grab, and then just take 2 weeks on the beach. Now we just go in there, put honest labor for honest work. We fund maybe a tyrannical warlord, but we do it to show people that, like, you know, maybe we can just do this better.
Yeah, and I think so that answers the question. Basically, our hirelings are fucking lazy pieces of shit, and it's a good thing we don't fucking pay them.
Yeah. Are you guys ready for stable?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Stable. It's a 9th level bastion. Prerequisites none. Space roomy. Hirelings 1. And orders trade. A bastion can have more than one stable. Each stable comes with a riding horse or camel, or 2 ponies, or 2 mules. The facility is big enough to house 3 large animals. 2 medium creatures occupy the same amount of space as 1 large creature. The facility's hirelings look after these creatures. After a beast that can serve as a mount spends 14 days in this facility, all animal handling checks made with respect to it have advantage, as the animal becomes easier to handle. When you issue the trade order on this facility, you commission the facility's hireling to buy or sell one of the mounts at normal cost, keeping the ones you buy in your stable. The work takes 7 days, and the DM must decide what type of animals are available for purchase. Why does it take so long to buy a horse? The mounts and other animals table in the player's handbook gives standard prices for various mounts, including camels, horses, ponies, and mules. When you sell a mount from your stable, the buyer pays 20% more than the standard price. The profit increases to 15% when you reach level 13, and 100% when you reach level 17.
Dude, what the hell?
This is the first system we've ever seen that had any type of scaling profit.
Yeah.
At level 17, bro, you just send your boys out. You buy fucking as many horses as you can, and then you flip them, bro.
Well, if you go to the next part there, yeah.
Enlarging your stable. You can spend 2,000 gold pieces if you do so. The stable is large enough to house 6 animals. Okay, one sec.
6 large animals.
Cost 5E.
I would like to say I like that it doesn't even explain like, oh, your trainers got better. Oh, it literally just says that you sell a fucking shit ass mundane horse because you're 17th level. Your people go up to someone and say, yo, do you know whose horse this is? Do you know whose horse this is?
Do you know whose horse this is? BMW on the side.
Yeah, exactly. It's branded. It's literally, you got an Adidas horse and you're just selling it for triple the cost.
Oh yes. Here's what you do.
Oh shit.
Oh boy.
If the party has a druid, you just keep selling the druid over and over again. Fucking 200%.
But wait,
profit.
You can't hold on. This your druid can't wild shape for 7 days though, because that's a minimum time.
Doesn't need to. They walk there, they just wild shape at point of sale, you know?
Alright, what's the
20th
cost?
level, man, they can wild shape as many times as they want, bro. They just infinitely wild shape, dude. The cost for a horse is 75 gold pieces, you know, which isn't that crazy, but you can house, okay, let's see, 75 times 12,
Yeah,
5 times 12, and then we double that. You get
Doubling,
1,800
Holy
gold
shit.
pieces a week, bro.
Why times 12? Because you're able to hold 6 large horses.
6 large horses, but 2 medium-sized creatures, which
Yeah,
horses
6
are
large
considered
animals.
medium
Oh,
since
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
one large
Horses are
stable.
medium
Wait, I don't
They're
think horses
mediums.
are they medium?
That's
I don't.
so
Yeah.
stupid. You're
Are they
kidding
really?
me.
Hold on, where's my
Oh.
books? I should have brought my books out. Yo,
I mean,
look
he's
that up.
looking at her. Yeah.
Look that up
let's
right.
see.
Look that up right now. I don't think that's true, but if it is, fucking spank me. Hey yo.
Horse monsters D&D 5e. Large beast on the
Oh,
line.
okay. Whew.
Okay.
Save.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Save. Oh yeah, riding horse.
Alright.
I feel like
It
a
says
mule.
riding horse.
Hey, a mule is maybe that medium. I feel like a mule's medium. Pony, medium.
A daft horse is also a large
Mule
beast. Or draft horse. A war horse is also a
plus-
large beast.
It's 30 gold pieces for a pony. So I mean, still, you're not making an insane amount of money, but also at the same time, man, you literally are flipping horses, bro.
Yeah,
you just get a
yeah.
horse and you're like, you
It's
see this bad boy, dude? I put in a war horse engine on this pony right here.
A war horse has a +6 to hit and does 2d6 +4 bludgeoning damage.
Sorry,
oh
what?
Holy
War-
shit.
His DR 1/2 +6 to hit, 2d6 +4 bludgeoning
That's
damage.
strong.
It also has the ability Trampling Charge, which will knock you prone if you don't pass a strength save. So it'll knock you prone, get advantage, beat fucking ass, and leave you for dead.
I like how this I like how it's just more infinite money, bro. It's not. I love how like with all of the majority of these rooms. I feel like the rooms we like the most is when Wizards of the Coast go for 4 seconds, go off of the fucking scope of money and put like effort into like an actual room and being intricate. Literally,
Yes.
it's all they I don't know what it is the draw for these mechanics that they're making, but they just love fucking making you infinite money. And it's kind of like absurd just because it's like I want
give you infinite money at the rate of like 50 gold a week. I love giving you infinite money at like this rate of a Roth IRA. Like, that's super fascinating. My guy's gonna die in like 2 weeks.
I will say.
Holy shit, we figured it out. Bastions are just the retirement plan of D&D.
Oh,
That's their only
okay.
existence.
Okay, can I edit a PDF? I'm really gonna switch the name of the PDF. No, okay, so I will say, really cool.
The hirelings are just like elder care practitioners. They're just your nurses.
Oh, they're your fucking nurses. They're taking care of all the level 20 ancient, old, decrepit level adventurer when he has to eat his mushy soup because his teeth fell out.
Yeah.
He's gonna have
Hell
dentures.
yeah.
Really got you. They can cast heal once per week, man. Anytime your dentures fall,
Well,
they
I
just
guess-
heal you new ones.
The
Well,
magical
you-
tree is just like clementines.
Well-
It's like this-
It doesn't even matter though, because like you're on the verge of death. They fucking pull out their crossbow, shoot you right in the head, use all your battle pass points to bring you back to life. Boom, you're good again.
it doesn't say it brings you back to perfect health. It just says it brings you back.
Yeah, well, it brings it back. I mean, oh, you come back. You come back with the
Like
arrow in your head.
Arrow, you immediately die, bro.
No, I will say real quick. Before I will say the mechanic is really cool. I mean, days, whatever. But I like that if creatures spend time in your stables, you have advantage on animal handling. That's really cool. That's an actual like mechanical, cool RP kind of style, like function of this room instead of infinite money glitch. I do like that a lot. I also would like to say I started laughing literally like midway through because I was just thinking one hireling, and most of the time parties usually capture crazy shit. So I was just thinking of like one hireling, like controlling a wyvern in the stables, like a fucking polar bear, like a baby, like a wormling, or just like crazy shit. One dude is just like getting underpaid as fuck to take care of these massive dragon-sized shits every day.
It's like a kind old man. It's like, sure, I'll look after your horses. It's just like, is that a goddamn hydra? Yeah.
He
Yeah,
said,
he's underfed.
That's so fucking funny. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Storehouse. Is it back to me? Yeah, it is back to me, huh?
Yeah.
All right, Storehouse, level 5, Bastion facility. I don't know why I'm slightly optimistic for this. I don't know why. All right, prerequisite none. Space, roomy. Hirelings 1. Order, trade. This cool, dark space is meant to contain trade goods. See the trade goods table in the player's handbook, but can hold almost anything. All right, cool. When you issue the trade order to this facility, its hireling spends the next 7 days procuring non-magical items that have a total value of 500 gold pieces or less and stores them in the storehouse, or the hireling uses those 7 days to sell goods in the storehouse. You bear the total cost of any purchases, and the maximum value of the items purchased increases to 2,000. Oh, okay. 2,000 gold pieces when you reach 9th level, 5,000 when you reach 13th level. The equipment chapter of the player's handbook has tables of common goods that can be bought. When you sell goods from your storehouse, the buyer pays you 10% more than the standard price. This profit increases to 20% when you reach the and increases until you're 100% swindling the fuck out of the market. This is also always. I would like to say this is probably the first time in D&D they've actually used percentages as a modifier, which is interesting.
Instead of like a fraction.
Yeah, or something. I would also like to say this disappointed the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
I don't know
why it's called Storehouse. Why don't you just call it like the free market? Like,
yeah, Trade Depot or some shit. I'm not storing
anything.
Call
it like a MacBook and just let me do insider trading in D&D at this point. Like,
yeah,
like I don't know what's happening there. I can read Teleportation Circle unless you want to say more. The Teleportation Circle seems to be pretty.
Going back to like the kind of the redemptive kind of overarching thing of all of these rooms, which is the scenario in which like you guys you're like a party of frontiersmen and you're building up like a network and you're kind of like what.
Bothering me.
Okay, all right. But going back to like the concept of like the campaign idea of like, hey, you're frontiersmen, like your Bastion is like you're almost like a trade outpost and you're establishing like this area. This is the only reason why I had any hope for this kind of room in terms of like kind of a cool function. I think this would be kind of a cool function in a setting like that, just because like, you know, you're on the frontier, you need to build up resources, you're selling to like different various people, and I think it really, you do have to look outside the scope sometimes for rooms like this. I think this would be a cool room if, like, yes, it's just generating you money, blah, 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 but it's really cool, I think, from a DM's perspective, where you could use things like this to maybe incur RP things. Like, maybe you have people, like, come to your Bastion or come to your, like, you know, like go to your local area and be like, hey, like, we're like our village is impoverished or we need stuff, and then you can have cool RP things through the storehouse by like giving them goods and like, you know, doing stuff like that. Because yeah, you know, face value is just talking about money and selling stuff and whatever. But I think if you added some flavor to this in terms of storyline, like plot hooks and just like interactions, I think it'd be kind of cool.
So I'm so sorry. I read ahead and I lost all hope for humanity.
Teleportation.
I think yeah, but I think Storehouse definitely could be cool, and I think like it can hold almost anything. Like, oh cool, what could I put in there? Random shit you want to sell, dude. Like, what do you want? Like, this is a trade hub. Like, what do they call it that? A storehouse. Like, I think especially because you're very limited on rooms you can do on this PDF for Bastions. So it's like anything that's kind of is taking the opportunity cost of using a better, either mechanically better or a more interesting room.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
all right,
making this room interesting would have to require the DM being like, "You have that room for free," and then it's like, "Okay, fine. I'll accept having this room then. I'm gonna get 10,000 gold a turn."
That's why I almost kind of like the idea of like, instead of you having a Bastion and filling it with rooms, I almost like the idea of you choosing a Bastion theme and then it comes with designated rooms that you want and they all kind of tie together and it goes from there. That's kind of like, in my mind, if you have like any sort of like commercial like Bastion in terms of like, you know, maybe like a pub or like, you know, the various things like an adventurers guild or whatever it is, this is where I'd be like, yeah, you have a storehouse because you need to fund that stuff. You need a space to store the goods to fund your other rooms. So that's where, you could do things like that. What are you doing, Logan? What are you doing, my man?
Doing nothing, bro.
Yeah, don't lie, bro. There's a lot of back and forth head turning right from your side of the fucking screen.
All right. Well, let me take you guys on a journey through what they consider a teleportation circle.
Oh, okay.
Teleportation circle. Level 9 Bastion. Prerequisite, none. None at all. You don't need to be a wizard. Just none. You can be anybody. Which
okay.
is Space Rooming, Hireling 0. Order, Recruit. Inscribed on the floor of this room is a permanent teleportation circle created by a teleportation circle spell. Each time you issue a recruit order in this facility, your Bastion extends an invitation to a friendly mage or friendly archmage if you're level 17 or higher. See the monster manual for the stat blocks. Roll any die. If the number rolled is odd, the invitee declines the invitation. You gain no benefit. If the number rolled is even, the invitee accepts the invitation and arrives with the Bastion via your teleportation circle. The guest stays for 7 days. The guest won't help you defend your Bastion and departs immediately if the Bastion is... When you are in the Bastion, you can ask the visiting mage or archmage to cast one spell. In the case of the mage, choose a wizard spell a level 4 or lower. In the case of the archmage, choose a wizard spell a level 8 or lower. And you're getting archmage at level 17 again. The spell might be one the visitor has prepared, or it might be written in a spell book. If the spell has one or more material components that cost money, you must pay for them before the spell can be cast. And that is the sum total of what teleportation circle is.
That is the crazy.
You can use it as a teleportation circle.
I know.
Technically, you need to still make a damn teleportation circle to travel. But you can invite fucking Wilbo the Fire Mage and have him go fuck off. I see bandits over the hill. So that's
Wait,
cool.
hold on. I gotta hold on. No. So I will retract that statement. It does say inscribed on the floor of this room is a permanent teleportation circle created by a teleportation circle spell. So because of that, you get the effects of the teleportation circle spell. So that's already encompassed. And then if you do the recruit action is when all the fucking bullshit happens. So I will say it does function. No, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that they could like somehow break down a really cool idea in terms of like, oh, invite like somebody to your thing and make it the most like mechanically raw shit ever. Literally the most transactional thing you could possibly do like ever is how they broke this down.
That is my main problem with this whole document.
That's true.
It's because I feel like they had to be like,
100%.
let's put this in RPG or tower defense rules.
Yes.
Let's make sure everybody knows how much damage this dart this monkey's throwing at that fucking balloon. We want people to know they're not missing out when they get teleportation circle. They're gonna be able to ask a wizard kindly if he can cast fireball somewhere, or cast. Does anybody have fucking like detect magic? Oh, let's go back to our house and ask a wizard.
Yeah. I also like that I like that he shows up and you're like, cast a spell for me. I'll pay you.
Yeah. Just want to stay for 7 days. Not particularly. You don't have a choice.
You're bound by like soul.
How bad this RP interaction went. You're staying for 7 days. Ah, shit. We have like listeners outside. Oh, he left. It's technically an attack. Fuck.
Dude, that's a DM's hell, bro. Imagine you're like, okay, they do this action. You're like, okay, real quick. Like, oh shit, I wasn't prepared for this. Okay, I'll make a mage real quick. Now you have to RP for 7 fucking days. This mage or archmage.
I think I would immediately make the running bit is you're always getting the same wizard back and he sucks. And then when you're finally we can catch Archmage. Well, guess who just got fucking promoted?
Yeah. Guess who just got...
It's like, it's Squiggles! And everyone's like, fuck Squiggles!
Dude, he's
Your
like,
intelligence is 5!
Listen, guys, I just got promoted from the academy! And you're like, fuck you, and they just kill him.
Yeah, like the plot hook to get them from level 16 to 17 is they had to attack the evil wizard syndicate. So now there's less wizards in the world, so everyone was automatically upgraded. His membership card just got a premium star on it.
Fuck yeah. No, I will say though, amidst literally everything about this, I like the idea. Like we've already said 1,000,001 times in this whole PDF, a lot of cool ideas. Fucking dog shit execution or articulation. I like the idea of this though, of being like, hey, you extend an invitation. I would like to say, I'm pretty sure a teleportation circle, I don't know how it works in terms of being able to figure out like how to teleport there. I'm pretty sure you have to like see it. I don't think
you have to describe a teleportation circle and then you have to spend 30 days going over that circle over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until eventually, yay, you have a teleportation circle.
No, it's there. It's worse. You create a permanent teleportation circle by casting the spell in the same location every day for 1 year.
Oh my god.
So based off that, this is actually better because you just kind of wake up with coffee one day. It's like, contractors finished it? Cool. Hey guys, we got a Stargate in the fucking foyer.
To be fair, though, it does say that it's already permanently inscribed, so you don't have to do the spell. It functions like the teleportation circle, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also,
that part is neatish.
Can you use it as a teleportation circle still, or no?
I like Jared's interpretation. Is that it says that you have the teleportation circle. It says created by the spell teleportation circle. So why not?
Yeah, you would have it permanently, and then you use the recruit. Good.
My favorite thing with teleportation circles is there's not really anything necessary stating that you will have to invite someone to use it. So you now just have a hole in your defenses in your foyer where just somebody can just come through. It's like, hi, here's me and 30 of my assassins. And then, actually, it's technically a Bastion defense now, so... And
then the archmage you hired instantly fucking leaves.
Oh, he's out. He is out of there.
No, I would like to picture like the fact that these this group of like assassins and this diabolical villain show up, and the archmage you open the door and you're like, oh fuck, and like they're like, haha, we're here to kill you, and the archmage just like taps you on the shoulder, says, I gotta head out, and just walks towards the group. They all separate and let him get to like the center of it, and he just disappears. And then they all turn back to you, and they're like, all right, let's continue with our fucking business.
Yeah. He's like, cut. I have a meeting. I am late.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But no, anyway, I like the idea of, I do like the RP potential of this in terms of like you just have a homie show up, and like that'd be kind of a cool like late game thing where maybe or you add it into the world somewhere. Maybe they met a mage earlier in the game. This is a 9th level feature,
and they didn't kill him.
Impossible. But anyway, onward. Ooh, theater. I bet this is totally fun and cool. Go ahead, Logan.
Theater, 9th level 9 Bastion facility. Prerequisites: none, space vast, hireling 4, and the order empower. The theater contains a stage, a backstage area where props are set and kept, and a seating area for a small audience. When you issue the Empower order, its hirelings begin to work on a theatrical production or concert. Rehearsal and other preparations take 14 days, followed by at least 7 days of performance. The performance can continue underway. Contribute to the production in one of the following ways. Composer/writer. The character can compose music or write a script for a rehearsal yet. This effort takes 14 days. Conductor/director. A character who remains in the Bastion for the entirety of a production can serve as the conductor or the production's director. Performer. A character who remains in the Bastion for the entire rehearsal period can be a star performer in one of the performances. One of the theater's hirelings can serve as an understudy for additional performances. At the end of the rehearsal period, each character who contributed to the concert or production can make a DC 15 charisma. If these checks succeed, then fail. If more of these checks succeed than fail, you and other characters who contributed to the concert or production each gain a theater die, a D6, which increases to a D8 when you reach level 13 and a D10 when you reach level 17. At any point after the rehearsal ends, a character can expend their theater die to roll it and add the number rolled to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. If a character hasn't expended their theater die before gaining another, the first die is lost. That's
interesting.
Cool. Yeah, just a little bardic inspiration.
Yeah, deep baked bardic inspiration. I like that.
It's a deep fake bardic inspiration.
Deep baked.
Oh, they said deep.
You're spending because you're in your Bastion for 14 days, depending on what you're.
Why is it glitching out?
Traveling matter. Am I breaking up or are you guys breaking up?
No, you guys are breaking up for me. Are we all breaking up? Because I mean, yeah, it keeps cutting.
I'm breaking up a little bit too.
All right, so it's just Discord being dumb. All right. No, I do think this is kind of an interesting concept. Yeah, like you said, just bardic inspiration essentially. I do like how kind of fleshed out it is, though. They have composer, conductor, performer. They're actually like going through and listing kind of different things that you can be like a part of. I mean, the timetables obviously is a bit extensive in terms of like, you know, 14 days and then 7 days and all this crazy shit. But I think this is gonna be a really cool way. Like I've already mentioned, like plot hooks or things that you can do to RP and things, you know, you can maybe hire people to, or you can have this kind of be like a side quest jumping off point where something could happen in the theater or someone shows up or people, you know. So, and I think that's a cool kind of open-ended thing. And then also you do get your bardic inspiration. But hold on, at the end of it, okay, each character who contributed to the concert can make a DC. If more of these, you and any other character who contributed, this die increases. Okay. So basically, and then at any point after rehearsal ends, the character can expend. Oh, so this doesn't go away. It's almost like an inspiration for until you use it.
Yeah, and you can still get bardic with it. It's just like a nice addition, kind of.
And it's a rehearsal, right? It's not even a performance necessarily.
Yeah, it looks like any point after rehearsal, you can grab a dice. So you can like be there and like help, and then have your dudes perform to just perform.
That's an interesting. It's interesting, I guess.
It doesn't say it makes money, oddly enough, in this one.
Which is kind of funny how that works, yeah, right?
Well, it's also like the art guild you can do is very restricted and technically does not state it makes money. It says like if you die, you make money.
If you get killed on stage, then people will actually donate.
Dude, that's the move. You get murdered on stage is like the most dedicated to his role.
Yeah.
He was brought back with enough battle pass points. So tomorrow,
in the middle,
and
of
didn't leave on an adventure. Your fucking understudy has to go in and just die.
Theater. It's a cool concept. Cool concept.
Cool. Yeah. I like it. I like the effect of it. I think it's like, it's fine. It's nothing crazy, but it's nice to have a permanent.
It's unique. It's unique and fleshed out in a cool way, I'd say. Is it back to the top, right?
Yeah.
All right. Training area. Level 9 Bastion facility. Prerequisite: expertise in a skill, fighting style, feature, or unarmored defense. All right. I like how this training area requires like crazy shit like that, but then just the whole ass theater doesn't even require you to be like somewhat proficient in performance. You just do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, this one, you have expertise in a skill or a fighting style feature or unarmored defense.
Right, but I just think it's funny where they stipulate certain things require certain stuff, whereas like a whole ass theater and you running a production, it requires no background knowledge or need.
Have you seen some of the movies coming out these days? I think it's
you know what?
alive.
Amen. I guess they're just following the trends. All right, its space is vast. Hirelings are 4, order and power. A bastion can have more than one training area. A training area might be an open courtyard, a gymnasium, a music or dance hall, or a cleverly built gauntlet of traps and hazards. It might contain inanimate targets for weapon practice, padded mats, and other equipment. One of the facility's hirelings is an expert trainer. The others serve as training partners. When a training area becomes a part of your bastion, choose one trainer from the expert trainers table. Okay. On each bastion turn, you can replace that trainer with another one from the table. When you issue the Empower order to this facility, the facility's hirelings conduct training exercises for the next 7 days. Any character who trains here for at least 8 hours on each of those days gain a benefit at the end of the training period. The benefit depends on which trainer is present in the facility, as noted in the expert trainers table. The benefit lasts for 7 days. All right, so we got a battle expert. Once per turn, when you take damage from an attack made with an unarmed strike or a weapon, you can reduce the damage by a d4, provided you don't have the incapacitated condition. Okay, what level is this one?
Turn.
Per turn? Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that's actually pretty good considering it's only a d4. I was about to shit on that, but you caught me right before I could start spewing.
I got you.
Skills expert. You gain proficiency in one of the following skills of your choice: acrobatics, athletics, performance, sleight of hand, or stealth. Tools expert. You gain proficiency with one musical instrument or tool of your choice. Unarmed combat expert. When you use an unarmed strike to damage a target, the attack deals an extra 1d4 bludgeoning damage on a hit.
Monk sweep.
Don't say that word here. Weapon expert. Choose a type of simple or martial weapon, such as a spear or longbow. If you aren't proficient with the weapon, you gain proficiency with it for the next 7 days. If you already have proficiency with the weapon, you can use its mastery property for the next 7 days. I like this a lot. I do. I think it's pretty cool.
It's fine.
I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's fine. I think battle experts probably the better one for well, no, it depends on the kind of campaign, I guess. Tools expert or skills expert, depending on like if you're doing like a heist or something, or just like we got to be incognito.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. I think so. I will say, bear this in mind. Whenever I think of these things, whenever it says a certain amount of days for you to get something, I throw that shit immediately out and look at the core mechanics. So, like, I think this is a lot cooler if it was to be more like on a day-to-day basis. Say, like you were saying, like, hey, you need to, get ready for a certain specific encounter or quest or something. I think it's a cool little way that you can, like, hey, let's go back to the Bastion, let's train up a little bit, and then we'll be better prepared for the next week or the next couple of days or however long you want to run the benefits last. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, not really a point of order, but a funny thing is like the training area might be a courtyard or a gymnasium or like a cleverly built gauntlet of traps and hazards. Like, yeah, let's do that one. I like that one. All right, cleverly built gauntlet. All right, we're gonna work on music. So grab a mandolin, pick a caltrop to kind of sit on, and just let's start strumming. Because I'm actually a sub this week.
Hell yeah. I think that's pretty cool. So
it's pretty good. I mean,
it's one of the rooms I like the most so far out of all the ones we've seen. The rooms that I usually have like tables of things you can do. I like the options rather than it's like, boom, you get this room. All right, congratulations, you get this effect.
Yeah, and I would say the only thing that I'm not usually a fan of just like cycling out things. Like, I think it'd be kind of cool if instead of cycling out your trainer, you maybe had to put more thought into which trainer you chose, and then maybe you could hire other trainers or maybe whatever it is. Because I think it'd be really cool to have like a prominent NPC in your like party's like training or lives or whatever it is be this trainer, and then you can have those RP instances.
Just make all these trainers the same guy.
Yeah, that's what I was also gonna say. Like, I was thinking too. Like, yeah, make it so that you just they're all encompassing, and you can only do like he can only do like one regiment per whatever, right? Like, he has to kind of brush up on certain things before.
It's like a Warforged or something. You need to plug in different like crystals
modules. You're like,
yeah. All right, someone give him fucking guitar hands.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah, there you go.
Trophy room.
Okay, I'll read it, I guess.
I know you love reading.
I hate this.
Hey, we only got 3 more rooms left, right?
Hell yeah! Hey. He's almost.
Yeah,
I like how immediately a fall of a Bastion is the thing immediately after all of these.
Trophy room. Prerequisite none. Space. Ruby. Hirelings 1. Order. Research. Keep that in mind. This room houses a collection of mementos, such as weapons from old battles, gifts for benefactors, the mounting heads of slain creatures, trinkets plucked from dungeons and ruins, and trophies passed down from ancestors. When you issue the research order to this facility, choose one of the following options. Research lore. You commission the facility's hirelings to research a topic of your choice, or you do the research yourself. The topic can be a legend, any kind of creature, or a famous object. The topic needs to not be directly related to the items need not be directly related to the items on display in the room, as the trophies provide clues to research a wide variety of other subjects. The work takes 7 days. When the research concludes, you obtain up to 3 accurate pieces of information about the topic you were previously unknown to you. The DM determines what information is learned. Research Trinket Trophy. You commission the facility's hirelings to search for a trinket that might be of use to you. When the work takes 7 days, when the research concludes, roll a die. If the number rolled is odd, the hireling finds nothing useful. If the number rolled is even, the hireling finds a trinket with a previously unknown magical property.
What the hell?
You can decide what the trinket looks like, or roll on the trinkets table in the player's handbook to determine its form. As a magic action, a creature can use the trinket to cast a particular spell requiring no spell components. Choose a spell from the following list: Clairvoyance, Death Ward, Find Traps, Locate Creature, Magic Weapon. Smithy,
we're back. We're back.
Remove Cursed or Speak with Dead. Once it's used this way, the trinket loses its magic. It's not as bad as I thought. I think renaming Trophy Room to something else makes sense, but it also it kind of feels like Archive or Library a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe just add it to Archive and Library.
I kind of like it being a little bit different, but I agree with you 100%. I do think it should be named something different. I don't think that Trophy Room and then all of a sudden you're doing lore, like research and stuff, makes the most sense.
Yeah, but like, you're just delving through random bullshit you grab in a dungeon that you somehow missed as an adventurer. You're like, oh yeah, this thing allows me to cast magic weapon one time within 7 days. The adventurers would be like, oh shit, nice dude, and then they take it from their hire.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. I was looking for that actually.
If my hireling found a trinket that gave him Death Ward, he would not tell me. Keep it in his pocket for when my wrath befell him.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I found a trinket that casts Death Ward. You're like, that's wild. You kill him and he doesn't die.
Yeah, you're like
smart man.
And then the guards show up and you're like, fuck.
Guards show up, it's my house. You better have Death Ward on you too, buddy.
Yeah. He said fireball.
I said fire. I don't care how flammable my Bastion is. I said I cast Fireball.
Yeah. He said, you know your thing's made out of wood. Yeah, and?
Alright.
Hey, actually, speaking of which, let's see how much damage I do. I'm gonna do the chat command fireball and see how much damage I fucking do. Let's see.
Give me 30 seconds. 1 second.
Oh, only 17 damage to your Bastion, Connor, and all your friends and loved ones. Maybe better next time. I do like that the with library or archive or whichever one it was. I like how the research concludes you obtain with the 3 accurate pieces of information about the topic, and then the DM kind of determines what that information is. Those open-ended things, love those. But room kind of vibe and flavor for what it's giving you is kind of strange. So I think that would need to be switched.
Logan gets the privilege of reading my favorite room.
War Room.
Hell yeah.
Level 17
I read
Bastion
ahead.
facility.
I know you did,
fighting
bitch.
style feature or unarmored defense feature. Space vast. See below for hirelings. Recruit is your order. The War Room is where you plan military actions in.
Consultation?
Thank you.
I thought you were just frozen.
No, never in my life have I seen the word consultation written down. I've heard people say
I see. No worries.
with an inner circle of loyal lieutenants. Each one a battle-hardened veteran whose alignment matches yours. Whose alignment matches? Yikes! You start with 2 lieutenants, but you can add more as described below. If your bastion lacks facilities to house your lieutenants, they secure accommodations in the inn or settlement closest to your bastion. Lieutenants don't count as bastion defenders, but if your bastion is attacked, each lieutenant house of your bastion reduces the number of dice you roll to determine how many bastion defenders are lost in the attack. The war room contains war memorabilia plus a large table surrounded by enough chairs for you and your lieutenants. When you issue the recruit order to this facility, choose one of the following options. Recruit lieutenant. You gain 1 new lieutenant. You can have up to 10 lieutenants at any time. Assign names and personalities to them as you see fit.
But remember, you can have 10.
Yeah, that's actually crazy.
Recruit soldier. You commission 1 or more of your lieutenants to assemble a small army. Each lieutenant must muster.
Wait.
Lieutenant can muster 100 guards.
Wait, what?
And 7 days to fight for your cause. Reduce the number to 20 guards if you want them to be mounted on riding horses. This costs 1 gold per day to feed each guard and each horse in your army. Wherever the army goes, it must be led by you or at least one of your lieutenants, or else it disbands immediately. The army also disbands if you go 1 day without being fed. Otherwise, the army retains until destroyed, or you command to disband it. You can't issue the recruit order again until your army is disbanded or destroyed. 1 day without being fed?
Yeah, those guys are ornery motherfuckers, bro. Those guys are fucking.
I don't think you understand how well this fits into me just wanting to play a lawful evil necromancer. I'm gonna build an army, march it into the sea, murder them. You have any idea how much raw material I have to work with?
Dude,
you have any idea what I got going on now?
And then you just get a wizard that can cast. Oh, what's it called? Where you have material synthesize or something, where you have the materials and you can just make things. So you're like, man, all of those soldiers died. Fabricate. All those soldiers died with a bunch of swords into my bag of holding. All right, now I have my undead army, and here are all of the swords.
Yeah. I'm just gonna walk them in a valley and cast Tidal Wave.
You could have 1,000 soldiers. With
No, I can have
Lieutenant's
1,000 sets, little intricate sets of bones to use in my. Anyways, being able to assemble an army of 1,000 men plus 10 lieutenants plus your party is insane. Considering that every player also has their own bastion technique.
Technically, yes.
So at level 17, a party of 4 will have 4,000 men of their own volition, no RP required. Fucking figure it out, DM, how the manpower of the local region is going to be affected by the sudden conscription.
I will
better be going to fight Tiamat, or else people are going to be pissed
It
when the
is-
sun does not come home from a bone bash.
I will say it is 17th level, so it's like end game shit. But I do think it's funny how like some of this shit literally just it feels just literally so strategic. Game click in fucking place, bro. It literally just says you just start recruiting 100 people.
Yeah,
It's not even like a hey, like make a check to see how many people you recruit. It's like no, 100 unwilling victims are fucking conscripted into your army, and they will fight for you unless they're not fed for one day, and then I guess that's kind of on you, but they will die for your cause.
Also, where are you getting the food, man? I know it's a gold per person a day, and you've probably got money bags at that point, but where are you getting the food, dude?
I don't fucking know. Hey, you give them the storehouse that you got. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the food they probably have with them. You know, it's like if you're coming, hey, we're going to be campaigning for a month. Have enough food for a week, because that's all you're going to need. And then...
I like how... I guess...
Cards are also 1/8 CR.
Though from my understanding, the veterans are actually pretty good in terms of terms of ratings in the. But no, yes, a guard is like. The guard is not very
Fuck it, man. I'll take 4,000 kobolds, bro. All with pack tactics.
Oh my.
Dude, I don't need guards, bro.
This man said the dragon's getting advantage to fucking deletion. This man said, yo. It might be only a D4 damage, but you rolling 4,000 D4s, my guy. That's on average 4 fucking thousand damage.
You are guaranteed to crit at least 100 times.
Dude, that's
or your money back.
Or your party disbands. Your army disbands if you don't feed them.
Well, they better keep killing, because I ain't feeding them. You know what I mean? Like
that's dude. A DM's nightmare, bro. Imagine that. Imagine literally 4,000. All right, workshop. Level 5 Bastion facility.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom while I do that. I'm still listening, but
sounds good. Workshop level 5 Bastion facility. Prerequisite: expertise in a skill. Space: roomy. Hirelings 2. Order: craft. 1d full of battle pass points. This workshop is a creative space where all manner of useful items can be crafted. After spending an entire short rest in your workshop, you gain heroic advantage. You can't gain this benefit again until you finish a long rest. When you issue the craft order to this facility, you commission the facility's hirelings to craft one tiny, non-magical object that can be made using carpenter's tools, cobbler's tools, glassblower's tools, mason's tools, potter's tools, tinker's tools, weaver's tools, or cutting tools. Examples include a costume, a gaming set, a musical instrument, a spellcasting focus, a bottle, a shoe, or a toy. The work takes 7 days. Fucking course it takes 7 days. And costs you nothing unless the item is worth 10 gold pieces or more, in which case you pay half the item's cost. Alright. Fall of a Bastion. We ready to move on?
Baby.
No. Workshop, I mean, I feel like they threw in the heroic advantage to make it literally not a completely useless fucking room. So,
yeah, no, the room's useless. I can find a shoe off the bones in the army I murdered.
This man stays thinking ahead. All right, now we're getting into it. So this is gonna probably the Fall of a Bastion and Bastion Events. I think defending your Bastion are all going to be coming up here. So, Fall of a Bastion, Connor. I know you want to read this. Go ahead.
I want to read Bastion Events because I.
All right. Fall of a Bastion. If a character issues no orders to their Bastion for a number of consecutive Bastion turns equal to the character's level, typically because the character is dead or otherwise out of commission. First of all, if my character's dead, I'm going back to my Bastion to revive. So,
only if you have 50 points in the bank.
Yeah. Oh God. The hirelings abandon the Bastion, and the site is eventually looted. Oh, fuck. If the character returns later, they have the option to start a new Bastion, perhaps building it amid the ruins of the... I love how all of this is like... And I probably won't specify. Hold on. A character can give up their Bastion anytime. releasing the Bastion's hirelings and abandoning the location. The divested Bastion is quickly vacated, eventually looted, and might even be burnt to the ground. The character has the option of starting. The character has the option of starting a new Bastion elsewhere. In either case, the player can work with the DM to establish a new Bastion and determine how it comes into being. Use the special facility acquisition table to determine how many special facilities come with it. The new Bastion also starts with 2 basic facilities, 1 cramped and 1 roomy of the character's choice. Wow, that is it. Holy shit. So you're telling me this is what kills me. This is what kills me from the very start to now. Is why is it fucking free? This makes no sense. Like, this is literally inherently making it so every player, every character in D&D, for some reason, has some sort of inheritance, some sort of secret amount of cash, some sort of weird persuasion over the land to get a fucking house, castle, deed to a land. Like, I don't understand. Even if your people are like, peace out, you guys suck, you're like, I'm writing a bad review on Yelp, you're a shit boss, I'm leaving. Yeah. Even after that, you literally can be like, yo, DM, I know I fucked up. Can I please have another house? Can I please neglect more fucking hirelings? Please, God, give me a second chance.
Yeah.
And it's just
what
like,
are
yeah,
you,
go ahead.
the fucking National Reserve? No, you don't get to do that.
Yeah, and it's not like, hey, cost, hey, this is how you meant. No, it's just, yeah, sure, buddy.
Yeah. I also like if you haven't been there, it will be looted eventually. It'll
and burned to the
go
ground.
Ruin. If you release it at any time, it's gonna be quickly vacated, looted. Might even be fucking burnt to the ground. You'll eat a dick. Matter of fact, we hope your bones rot and wither inside your flesh and blood. We hope you die. It's just like, I just said I wanted to move. I just sold it. Like, I just sold the house.
No, they burned it down.
Yeah,
The new owner held a torch to it, looking you dead in the eye, and threw it through to the window.
I also want to point out, and we're going to get to it in Bastion Events, at no point does it say it could be destroyed because of any Bastion event. You read the full conditions and how a Bastion could...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
anyway, this is what I wanted to read, because Bastion Events.
All right.
Are you guys ready?
I don't know if I am.
End of any Bastion turn in which a character issues a maintain order to their Bastion. So if you're not doing research with it. The DM rules once on the Bastion Events table. If an event occurs, the DM reads the event described in the sections below on the table, aloud to the player whose character controls that Bastion. The event is resolved immediately, with the player and DM working together to expand story details as needed. The Bastion event only occurs when a Bastion is operating under the maintain order, which often means the Bastion's owner is not present in the Bastion at the time. That means those events can be opportunities for the player to take on the role of the Bastion's hirelings and roleplay the reactions to the events. DM can decide to even turn the Bastion event into a shorter cutscene where the players take
what the fuck? Okay.
No. So they're extrapolating all that because this is how fucking milquetoast it is. They're like, you could like do DM shit about it instead of just reading a list. So Bastion events, D20, 1 through 9, nothing happens. 10, attack, lose hirelings, refugees, friendly visit. We'll go through all those. But so first and foremost, nothing can happen, which is the best option. 10, attack. A hostile force attacks your Bastion, but is defeated. Doesn't matter what happens, they're defeated. Just so you know. Everything else I'm going to read, no matter what they fail. Roll a 66 for each die that rolls a 1. One Bastion defender dies. Remove these Bastion defenders from your Bastion roster. In addition, one of the Bastion's special facilities determined randomly is damaged and forced to shut down. If the Bastion has no defenders, or if no Bastion defenders are left after the attack, a second special facility is also shut down. A special facility that is shut down can't be used on your next Bastion turn. Damn it. After which it is repaired, made operational again at no cost to you. Which honestly doesn't fucking matter.
Wait.
Order, you're not home, and the next order is going to be maintained anyway. A special facility that is shut down generates no Bastion points when you issue the maintain order. Ah, shit. So that's, if we remember, oh, fuck, who gives a shit? Attack, it could be the most interesting thing of the Bastion, period. So many special facilities are based off attack, and that's the whole list. You read it all.
That's actually crazy that you cannot lose that. Like how it says you have no one to defend it. Yeah, they kind of kick in some of your floorboards, smash a mirror, make it so some of your facilities don't work, but then they leave. It's like, what the fuck?
If you remember walls and like a barracks, make it so like the D6 becomes like a D8. And makes it so like you roll like a 5d6 instead of 60. It's all that is mechanically changing. Which is why I said get the menagerie, stack it fucking to the gills with jackals.
Yeah.
Because those are the lowest cost. And you just fucking Animal Planet defending your walls, because mechanically it's the same thing. Criminal hirelings. One of your Bastion's hireling has a criminal past that comes to light when officials or bounty hunters visit your Bastion with a warrant for the hireling's arrest. You can retain the hireling by paying a bribe of 1d6 plus 100 gold, or times 100. Otherwise, the hireling is arrested and taken away. If this loss leaves one of your facilities without any hireling, that facility cannot be used on your next Bastion turn. Hireling is then replaced at no cost to you. So Gregory's fucking ganked by the Gestapo, and you just go like, all right. Extraordinary opportunity. You gain an extra 2d4 Bastion points if you spend 500 GP at a host a festival, fund a special research of a powerful spellcaster, or appease a domineering noble. Work the DM to determine the details. Friendly visitors come to your Bastion. Friendly visitors, by the way, birthed up 17 on a die, so this is like the top quadrant. Friendly visitors come to your Bastion.
This is 15. This is 15.
That's what I said. 15.
Sorry.
Said, yeah.
No, it's not even 17.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Visitors, yeah. I'm trying.
No, hold on. It's 15.
Swear to God.
This man's already mad.
I deal with people who actually do that at work.
Dude, this man.
I deal with people who actually do that.
This man's trying to rush through these things to make the hurdy go bye-bye, and I'm just prolonging the process.
You are. Monk.
Oh.
Hey, fuck you, dude. It did not look like you're having a... It did not... You're having a great time. Friendly visitors come to your Bastion. Seek and use one of your special facilities. They offer you 1d6 times 100 gold pieces for the brief use of the facility. For example, a caravan might want to use your workshop to repair its wagons. In traveling gear, pilgrims might want to rest in your sanctuary. A knight might want to use your smithy to replace a horseshoe or damaged weapons or armor. Or sages might need your arcane study to help you with... Do they not know the rule of 3? They're just throwing 5 some bitches at you. Their use of the facility doesn't interrupt any orders you issue to it. So you get free money. Honored guest. A guest comes to stay in your Bastion. Work with the DM to determine the stranger's identity. Roll on the honored guests table. Choose one of the options.
You don't have to read that. You don't fucking have to.
All you need to know is 4 is a dragon or another type of monster perches on top of your Bastion.
Wait, what?
It is indifferent towards others, but it turns hostile if it's threatened or attacked. Eventually, you could bribe it to leave.
Wait, maybe you should read all those. What the fuck? Wait, that escalated so fucking. I was nice. What the fuck? I literally thought it was gonna be 4 mundane fucking things, and that's. What the fuck? Alright, go ahead, read them all. What the fuck?
Alright, well, none of them are as good as 4, but number 1 is a renowned guest is grateful to stay at your Bastion and gives you a letter of recommendation that you can use to sway an important person to perform a service to you at no cost. Number 2, a guest required sanctuary while avoiding prosecution on their beliefs or crimes. They leave before the next Bastion trip but give you a gift of fucking money. A guest of friendly mercenaries giving you 4 additional Bastion defenders. They don't require a facility to house them. They stay until you send them away or they're killed. Which means they stay till they all die based off anomalous die rolls. Then 4, of course, after all those. A guest is a dragon or some other fucking chimera or some shit. It perches on top of your Bastion. Specifically, it's just resting on its haunches on your roof, devastating your shingles. Unless it is killed or driven off, it is indifferent towards... it stays until your next turn unless it's killed or driven off. It's indifferent towards others, but turns hostile. You might be able to bribe the creature to not leave on your next Bastion turn. Work with the DM to determine what considers a worthy. So you get horribly inconvenienced by all these honored guests.
I like how they're honored guests, but they're just fucking literal liabilities. Like, fuck, wait, get out of my house.
I'm realizing these aren't actually all in particular order. They're, for whatever reason, all in alphabetical order, which is not true to the list of Bastion events. So... Now here's Lost Hirelings. One of your Bastion special facilities
that's really stupid.
Loses its hirelings. The cause of your departure is up to you. You're probably a bad boss if you're doing half the shit I'm doing.
Or maybe a dragon on your fucking roof and you're not dealing with it.
Yeah,
you're not
the
dealing
facility
with it,
can't
bro.
be used.
Eaten.
So mechanically, half of the bad things are your special facility can't be used because of some bullshit. This is one of them.
Yeah.
Then the hireling, another hireling comes back.
They strike.
They're replaced. Yeah. Magical discovery. Hireling discovers, accidentally discover or create an uncommon magic item of your choice. The magic item can't be a pseudo armor, a shield, or a weapon, and its magic property is temporary. Its properties start to function when you claim the item and last until the start of your next Bastion term, after which the magic item turns to dust. Go to hell. Something
What?
cool happened. Oh, here's something cool. Refugees. A group of 2d4 refugees fleeing from a monster attack, a natural disaster, some other calamity seek probably the 4,000 people who were just murdered outside the town.
the fucking genocide that you performed.
They're not refugees. They came to complain, and then we took them in. If your bastion lacks basic facilities large enough to house them, the refugee camp right outside your bastion. The refugees offer you 1d6 gold times 100 gold pieces as payment for your hospitality and protection. They stay until you find a new home or hostile forces attack your bastion. Last, and probably one, it can't be least, some of these suck. Request for aid. Your bastion is called to help a local leader. Perhaps there's a search on for a missing person or brigands are plaguing the area. If you choose to help, you must dispatch one or more bastion defenders, jackals on the case.
Dude,
Roll a d6 for each
jackal
bastion. They're always jackals. If you choose to help, you must dispatch one or more bastion defenders. Roll a d6 for each bastion defender you send. If these rolls total 10 or higher, the problem is solved. And you earn 1d6 times 10 gold pieces. If the die rolls less than 10, the problem is still solved, but the reward is halved to one of your bastion defenders. So yeah, just throw like 2 of them out there. Roll. You lose a jackal. Who gives a shit? And they get half the gold. That's it. By the way, that's a whole list of actions that could happen.
All right.
They're like, either you can't use a magical facility, you get 1d6 times 100 gold,
I like
or
how
a dragon shows up.
yeah.
Just fucking camps out, dude.
Dude, that is some of the like great dude. An AI 100% made this fucking whole PDF.
Again, sorry to an intern named Gary who had to write this out. We're holding the AI. We know you tried your best, and this probably wasn't your job, but
this is probably one of those like, hey, like elementary school went to their fucking company. They said, hey, we need new content for D&D in 2024. Whoever writes the like coolest kind of like fucking mechanic, you know, we'll feature it in an Unearthed Arcana. Some middle schoolers like, I got you. And then they also just went to use ChatGPT, and so now here the fuck we have is just this.
I don't know what happened in my brain, but I got briefly offended that you're talking shit about middle schoolers before remembering I'm 26 and in fact not a middle schooler.
This man got immediately triggered and goes, wait.
That shit was 12 years ago, and I'm like,
Bro, this man, hey, Bastion Event 21, have fucking middle school trauma happen to you.
Yeah. I do not like random tables. I don't ever use them really. It's not a thing. I some of them are good though. Some of them are great for inspiration. This happens to absolutely not be one of them.
So I was gonna say, literally, I like that they offer random events because, you know, it's always good to have options in case something comes up and maybe you don't have, or yeah, like you said, inspiration. Literally, the majority of these could have not said anything. For instance, a hostile force attacks your bastion. All right, next one. Criminal hireling. One of your bastion's hirelings has a criminal past that comes to light when officials or bounty hunters visit your bastion with a warrant for the hireling's arrest. Boom, end it there.
I want to point out, criminal hireling's a 19. Magical discovery, when you get some shit that lasts for a week and goes away, is a nat 20.
Yeah, it's fucking shit.
Yeah.
Criminal hireling should be like 1. No, they could literally cut out all the excess. Just, dude, literally take the concepts of all of these. Like I was saying, one of your Bastion's hirelings has a criminal past that comes to light. Whoa, that's kind of cool. Wait, hold the fuck on. And then leave it there. Let the game commence from there. Have that be something your characters discover and make it a plot hook or a thread. Or even if it's just a simple like, sorry, fucking Phil, we have to let you go. Didn't know you were a fucking felon. Didn't know you're built like that. Guess we gotta let you go.
I think the main problem I have with this, the whole book, as we said, I think like they tried to add a lot of mechanics to something that shouldn't have them.
Yes.
I think it's like with that, they're kind of adding mechanics almost to that criminal hireling thing. Like people show up, you can pay a bribe, which is randomly generated, or keep them. You know, it's becoming like a Skyrim quest. Where it's really like, as you said, it's less is more. Just state what happens, leave it there.
Yeah.
DM decide where, like, oh, what narratively could happen here, or as a DM, present it to the party and see what they do about it. But also, the game is built in such a way that all these things happen when you are not there. like mechanically, the maintain order has to be given. Unless you're just so bored with your Bastion, you have to be doing maintain for any of these things to happen. So you're not there. It recommends going to a cutscene as Bill, the baker, who you just love so much, turns out he's wanted for like stealing so much gold, like a
just
weird amount
embezzling.
of gold from
Would
the
like
door.
to say,
The doors are
all
gonna
of my
execute.
hirelings are gonna be criminals. You come with the warrant, bro, we're gonna kill you. King
Yeah.
Scripted, welcome. You're in my army now.
Any hireling I actually like is gonna know I'm pursuing lynchdom. Like they know what's happening.
Dude,
Yeah, they're on the inner circle.
Criminal, yeah, yeah,
kidding
they
me?
are.
NATO becomes a thing because of our party. What do you
NATO.
mean?
In my campaign, you're probably not wrong.
I also like what kills me so much about this too is like literally like you even said, dude, there isn't even a you lose your Bastion if you take the L. It's literally just like oh no, you don't get a grow magical fruit that you can fucking use Dust Restoration. Oh no, you can't fucking make caltrops. Oh god, a horseshoe you can't make.
I understand based off the system they have why they couldn't do that. Because the attack happens when you're not there, and it'd be really shitty to find out your Bastion fell, was sacked and sieged. For not even like a story reason as a DM, you really have to justify your house being sacked and ruined when you weren't there. But of a randomly generated table because you had 3 fewer jackals than you expected in your roster, and then these guys came up and walloped it. It's like, oh, your home fell because RNG. You know, I get it, but make the system better.
I mean,
make
but
the whole core system make sense.
yeah, well, their attacking and defending system is actually shit. Like that doesn't even make sense. But I don't know. I think it'd be kind of like an interesting thing to be like, yo, Jimmy, go ahead and roll 3 d20s for me, and then depending on how those d20s pan out, or maybe depending on how many hirelings you have, that's like a modifier to a d20 roll, and then that's kind of the that's what happens for the during the attack, you know. And then you kind of have it go like that instead of rolling d6s, and then people are just dying, and then it just seems so hollow.
Yeah. I feel like the attack should almost be I feel like if the Bastion was perhaps like lording over an area, the attack is like, oh, like a nearby village is being attacked, and you're sending defenders out to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
But your Bastion, for one, your Bastion should be imposing enough that it shouldn't be attacked often, especially not like roughly once every 20 weeks. But like it also is like if attack was gonna happen, maybe like you get a sending stone sent. There's like there's a fucking army coming, then your party gonna get there. Dramatic siege the DM has planned happens, but it's your house. That could be cool. But that's also a very specific thing that a randomly generated table I don't think should put on a DM necessarily.
Yeah, and I don't even Bastion. All right, Bastions. Cool idea.
Love them. I don't think we should change anything. I think we just. Okay, I hate it.
Yeah, I was like, wait, who the hell?
I was gonna do a bit, but I lost interest.
I hope Bastions is released, and I hope everyone in the community, just like us, is like, yo, what the fuck is this? And I hope that they change it and tweak it over time. They add to it, they flesh it out, they change a lot of the bullshit. They maybe actually have some people go in there, like real life people, you know, tweak it and adjust it and do things to this mechanic and this system, and make it something actually fun and cool. I think that like the concept of having a mechanic for like a house and building up your house and having things and having these interactions and stuff is super cool. And I think I realized just now why this is so mechanically clunky is because I was literally about to say the hassle. I wouldn't say hassle is the right word, but the amount of effort as a DM that I would have to put in to making a living, breathing kind of house for a party, like with hirelings, with all these rooms, with all this stuff, would be so taxing on top of everything else, that I think that is exactly why they make it so mechanically clunky. They want something like this in D&D, maybe more consistently, and maybe for more campaigns, but they want to take a lot of the heavy lifting off of the DM. But to do that, you have to make a hollow system in an RP in a role-playing game feel more like a strategy game where you're just resolving things and you're just gaining benefits, or things are happening just without really any control over. Because yeah, it's like with all the stuff that's involved here, like if we wanted to incorporate everything we've mentioned about like, you know, RP things and all this stuff, you could literally have an entire fucking game around your Bastion, which is something we've mentioned. You know, it's like your Bastion is the focal point, and that'd be cool. But yeah, it's like if every single time a Bastion event happened and you're RPing and doing all this stuff, and it's just, it'd be a lot.
Yeah, I think I feel like Bastions, I hope, is a first pass that they take, and then they maybe release a more almost watered down version, I want to say, as far as just mechanically. Just like describe things differently, work on the Bastion like system, the point system and all that, as we talked about many times before, is not something that I would say I believe none of us like it.
You're right.
That much.
Doesn't feel needed. It's like you're like, I have Bastion points that I'm gonna use for one thing and one thing only.
Yeah, exactly. We already know what we're doing, and it's glorious. But that doesn't like it's glorious not because it's a cool thing to add to the game. It's because it's so silly. We're having fun with it.
Right.
Not in like a fun, mechanical way, but in like a intentionally exploiting a stupid system.
Well, I think that they added a currency when they didn't have to. If they would have just made gold the currency for all of these rooms, the Bastion, the higher, if they would have been just like gave it a pass over, they tried to simplify it. I feel like using a new system, but just made it just like dumb. Like I don't want battle pass points. I want like things to cost money. I would have more fun almost having to like manage a ledger with my money and have to like have cost and like have costs and stuff. That is where I would have more fun as a player, to be like, okay. And then I feel like if you added that currency, because I feel like they had to water down and kind of dilute some of these rooms, because first of all, none of it doesn't even, like, that's what's crazy to me, is none of the rooms cost anything. You're generating points you're generating currency to get something. And while you're generating that currency, you're getting more shit. That's what pisses me off about this, is that it's really an infinite loop of benefits and pluses to your players, which is fine. You know, I want things to happen to my players. I want them to be able to get benefits and and get cool things. But like there needs to be like a give take. Like that's what I love about D&D and like RP and role playing and stuff. It's like, bro, I don't want my players to just constantly get tens of thousands of gold. I want them to earn stuff. I want them to struggle. I want cool things to happen. I want like there to be, because without loss, gain is fucking honestly useless. It's no longer has that like that draw.
Yeah, I think there's different types of campaigns. I think this type of game would be kind of cool for again a very Bastion centric game, but you have to build I would have to struggle and restrict myself as a DM somewhat creatively to make this current system work, but I have to build a fucking campaign around just making this Bastion make damn sense.
Yeah. And
none of it is adventuring. It's fucking city manager. Like, you might go adventure, but it's to behoove and to strengthen your Bastion, or maybe like whatever it is the Bastion represents in the world, which could be fun, but like I don't like the system. It feels very board gamey. It feels very RPG-esque, as we talked about its mechanics, which is again, we don't like it. You might, if you're somebody who likes all that stuff. That's cool. And if you want to like get into the very like nitty gritty of it, there's certain parts in D&D where we get very into the mechanics of how things. Like we don't shy away from that when it comes to combat at all. Those +1 are going really fucking important. But here it's like I want my role play in the world to be very free. I want it to feel very organic, and I want it to be somewhat immersive. And having to stop and go, this week, this roll, this happened, money, get these points, which are not really explained at all, and what battle pass points is in the world. They just are a thing. Now you have a tree that's just giving you magic jujubes that last for 24 hours and shit,
Exactly. And that's a good point. That is a good thing to emphasize, though. It's like, for us, the way we run our games is a lot more kind of organic, a lot more like real world, a lot more role playing, a lot more reasons for things. A lot of our games, we just try to ground it in a sense. And so I think, yeah, if you do like mechanical and you like this kind of stuff, and if this is something that you like resolving certain things, and you do like that strategy kind of esque vibes in your D&D game, then cool. But even then, I would say I feel like regardless of who you are, I feel like there is still a lot of mechanics in here that are fucking blatantly just kind of shit. And some of the rooms are blatantly just kind of shit. Whether you like the battle pass point system and you like these different things, like there are just a lot of things that are just like don't make any fucking sense. So I do think that, I mean, this is the first time that they've released something like this, and so I give them kudos for at least branching into new territory. But I mean, if I was to suggest anything to them, I'd say, hey, go look at Star Wars 5e and maybe take some notes on how they have, you know, starships and how they have rooms and how they do things like that.
For sure.
And actually, I guess that's a good reference for those of you out here who might want to tackle this system. Like Star Wars 5e has like books. Like Connor, if you want to speak to this, like.
Yeah, for one, they're free online because legally they have to. Because otherwise Disney gets mad. Oh yeah, Star Wars 5e has Starships of the Galaxy. For me, what I did is I created the ship in a 3D space. As we use Tailspire in all our games quite often. It's a great system.
Yep.
Yeah, I made rooms, and there's a bunch of rules for it. And most importantly is none of it was points. It was all very expensive.
Yep,
and,
exactly.
Very expensive.
Very, very expensive. My party at one point, I think 2 separate times, got over combined $1 million, and they're now very broke. They're very broke. Some of them are literally broke, because everything to upgrade their ship and gear and stuff is so expensive. But that's also part of that game and world, you know.
It's like give and take. Like all of the rooms feel very useful and very well thought out in Starships of the Galaxy. Like just the lab alone, which I bought for my character, has a bunch of stuff that you can do in it, but it's never like, well, in 7 days I'll come back and something useful will happen. Like it has a bunch of actually applicable uses.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of having like in 7 days you can have a hireling do this, it's like, oh, if you want to go in, or presumably a hireling, if you have proficiency, now you have expertise, and there's bonuses for all that stuff using certain equipment to do things. Because that makes some sense, and it's also you have to go into that room, engage with, do stuff in there, and it's either a role-playing opportunity, or if you want to be as simple as, oh yeah, go ahead and roll a d20. Okay, you got that, you discovered this, and you move on. It can be as much as you want it to be. Instead of, I invited Bilbo the Wizard.
Oh yeah, I already forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, and that's where the balancing comes down for me. If you have things cost money, like a fuck ton of money, you can make things broken because then your party has to work for it. And I think that is where inherently the Bastion system is faulting, is that it's all about just like a new kind of currency and generating these points and how it's like, no. Get rid of that shit. Balance this whole thing with money. If something's insanely good, it costs $1 trillion. If something is like mundane, but it's, has some cool benefits, costs less money, costs a couple of thousand, costs a couple hundred, whatever it is. That is how. Yeah, $500 billion, because that is how you, I feel like that is how you make things more interesting. Because for me, it's like at a certain point in D&D, it's like, oh, we're getting like 3,000 gold. Okay, that's cool. How do I spend that to get items? It's like I want to spend my gold to get items or things. It's like at some point I'd rather just instead of giving me gold, just give me a fucking +3 grace sword. Like I'd rather have that. Like I don't, because I'm gonna buy that anyway. But then if you made rooms like in Star Wars 5e does, if you make rooms, then it's like give me money because I want to build up my cool ass crib and I want to be able to get these cool benefits.
Right. I think like the best thing I could think of for the Bastion system currently is, as a DM, don't make it everybody has their own, and the party has a Bastion. Get away with the Bastion, at least for me. Okay, get away from the Bastion turn point systems. Get away from the Bastion. Automatically get these at levels, all that jazz. Yeah. But like give the players an interesting Bastion and make sure there's a room that at least you had something in mind for every player when you added a room there. And then there's like the infrastructure parts of the Bastion. Don't make the players buy a storage unit. Like, right. Just have storage there, Yeah. And then if the players want stuff, talk about that. Use the rubric here if it makes sense, or if it doesn't make sense, think of something else, You can use this as a jumping off point, and make an interesting campaign, but it doesn't have to be a Bastion that could be attacked. It could be like, fuck it, we're in a pocket dimension. We're in a tavern. We're just, like my special part of the tavern is like I have like air ducts in the walls that I just scrape through, I'm just picking up secrets left and right. Cool, fuck it, that's a facility here. Go for it, but also like, oh, you want to upgrade your tavern? You don't get it at level 9. You go do that dangerous quest you've been avoiding for a while, because that pays really well.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is just the fact that like, it's weird that they have levels. It's weird that you just get a Bastion. It's like I think a Bastion, and like this is where they should outline it. Like have the paragraph of acquiring a Bastion. Here's a gold breakdown of how big the Bastion is, or maybe like examples of a castle, like an empty castle, or like a tavern size building, or like a house, you know. And then here's a cost breakdown for it, and then you go into like a baron of somewhere, if you do a special quest for them, can give you, just give it, like that's how it should come, that's how you should get it. It should be story plot driven, not level driven. I guess if you do milestones, then it could be story plot driven. But my issue with milestones, then you're clipping your players' levels, so that way they don't get certain things. Because now you're adding in this. It's like, oh, I don't want my players to be level 5, or else they get this. I don't want them to hit level 9 yet because they get this. It's like, no, you shouldn't tie it to level. That way that your characters can progress through the story as they are meant to, and then the Bastion as a separate thing can progress as it needs to, with money, whatever. Logan, what are your final thoughts, my friend?
I think Bastions are a very interesting jumping off point. Like they did not even like they didn't do a good job putting it together. It's the most bare bones system, and they're like, it's here, which is, that's nice, and it's a nice jumping off point for a lot of DMs who haven't really gone into that building step. But I mean, it really just feels like a farming simulator for gold and battle pass points to come back to life. Like, it doesn't feel like, even if you have good story beats around it, it doesn't feel like you're doing it for the story beats. You're literally just seeing how much shit you can farm from your Bastion. So I think it has a lot to work with. It is a first pass. I'm not going to say it's a good first pass, but it is a first pass, and so hopefully they will go back through, look at it, and refine it a little bit, and it gives people the kind of kick that they need to actually go through and build a system themselves.
Yeah. I'd magnet it to the fridge. You know what I mean? Like, you did a good job, buddy. We're gonna put this up here, real special.
Yeah.
But like,
for 7 days. For 7 days,
they get it. Guests are coming over. That shit's going down. I don't want them to know. Our household is very proud of you, but we don't tell the neighbors.
For 7 days, your shit can go in the fridge, and then we rip it off. They get your Bastion turn. We put your mechanics on the fridge, and then after the 7 days, we rip it up and put it in the shredder.
Right.
All right. Well, we did it, guys. We
loved it.
I think the only thing that was more tormenting than that, in a way, was Monk.
What's even funnier?
What?
I was watching an interview. I don't know the names of the people with Blizzard Coast interviewees. I recognize the people's faces, but they're talking about how well players respond to Monk. Everybody loved the UA.
Yeah.
Like 94% of players love the thing and blew it out of the water, which I get.
It's Monk players, bro. I don't care.
Oh yeah, who else is gonna respond to it? But people terminally online, like us. Hi, we're here.
Well, I think, I did actually. I watched that video for about 12 seconds, and then when they said that, I turned it off because I was like, "There's no fucking way, bro. Those are some skewed stats." I feel like. But to be fair, I mean, I feel like a lot of people maybe, I wouldn't say happy is the right word, because I feel like we're all pretty happy people. I don't feel like we shit on D&D mechanics necessarily because we're hateful. I would say we there's certain things where we're just kind of like, that kind of retracts from certain things. It's like a lot of the Monk features retract from, I don't want to use necessarily the term grounded, because obviously it's fantasy. It's supposed to be make-believe. It's supposed to be cool. But it's just certain things where it's like, why the fuck is the Monk running up the mountain, uninhibited? Why is he backflipping off the dragon's back and slow falling and not taking any fall damage? Why is he coming back to life 4 times in a combat? Why? To me, it's not even necessarily why. It's compared to any other class, the Monk has the most diverse skill set, and I just feel like it retracts from other classes. It's like, if you want to be the cheese fucking class, play Monk, and that's where my frustration is. Some of the abilities are subjectively cool, but it's like when you compare it to a lot of the other stuff, it's like, no, I don't want my fucking players just having this broke ass shit, because my other players oh bro, the rogue just now fucking got his ability to do cutting action. Or whatever. I don't know of an example. But you know what I'm saying? It's like the power skill.
Yeah.
Ranger just was able to cast Conjure Barrage without needing to use it to add it to the spell list. Oh, but the monk can also come back from death and just not deal with it.
I think, all in all, I'm really happy I was able to get us to talk about it.
I fucking hate you. I hate you. So.
All in all, about Bastions, I'm happy with what they did. I hope they... really, I think us, just as 3 people, maybe need to figure out how to do that community feedback and get involved in that as far as just like, hey, we didn't love it. Here's why, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
I'm saying that knowing I fully will procrastinate doing that till the next book comes out and then talk shit about it. Having done nothing to change that outcome.
I think the feedback for this was probably closed like a month ago.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure the feedback for this was probably closed before the year ended.
Yeah, probably.
That's okay. I'll talk about it now. Because I am, and that's my schedule. All right.
To be fair, we are giving feedback. Wizards of the Coast, watch our videos, watch our live stream.
Yeah,
that's on them.
That's the point. I want how many people work at their company now? Because it's less, but
probably 12.
Everybody at the company, go ahead and watch this. You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Watch at your next meeting.
You want to hire me? Because I'll just sit in a corner and talk shit about your ideas.
I wish, dude. If Wizards of the Coast hired me, that'd be probably my favorite job because I love making D&D content that doesn't suck ass. And so I think it'd be really cool to work there and for a living make cool D&D content.
You have to come back. You have to come back to Washington because their headquarters is in Bellevue.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll consider. No, I'm not working for them. All right. Revise cantrips, boys. You guys want a little bit of ice cream after dinner?
I will say I don't have a lot of time. So if we want to just hit the spell updates design notes and such.
That's exactly. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Because honestly, it's literally telling us exactly what changed instead of going through all of them. So I think that's perfect. Yeah. All right, boys. Revise cantrips. Let's see. So class tags. A spell's description contains one or more tags indicating this class spell list that contain the spell. For example, if a spell has the wizard tag, the spell is on the wizard spell list. Oh, wow. Following spells are presented in alphabetical order. Here are the main updates to the spells in this section. Acid Splash now creates a 5-foot radius sphere that can affect any creature caught in it, and it is an invocation instead of conjuration spell. The school change unites the spell with the sorcerer and wizard's other direct damage acid spells.
Like it.
Okay.
Blade Ward, which I'm happy to see, is now a reaction that imposes disadvantage on the creature's melee. I like more uses for reaction.
Yep. Always a fan of reactions too.
Wait, that's insane. Hold the fuck on.
Chill Touch is now a touch spell that deals 1d10 damage rather than the 1d8 and no longer has its rarely used undead specific effect.
Did it just do more damage to undead? I can't remember.
I think healed undead or didn't deal damage to them at all.
I like, because as we go through here, there's one more that I saw briefly that had something like that. I love rarely used abilities and niche ways to use spells. I like those.
Yeah.
That going away kind of sucks, but I'm not going to...
If you hit an undead target, it also has a disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the end of your next turn. Yeah, it's kind of a cool little added thing.
Yeah. I guess it could be a lot for a DM to keep track of, but...
but that's a player's responsibility.
But as a DM, whatever. Hit me with it.
Hold on, but this is interesting too. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 necrotic damage, and it can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn. Until then, the hand clings to the target. This, honestly, I don't like that they switched this. They basically went, oh, hey, you can't
regain hit points even still. That part's still in.
No, right. But what I'm saying is like they buffed it a little bit, but got rid of the undead space. I don't know. I just think like a D10 for a cantrip. All right, let's continue.
Well, if you look at these, most of these now scale with level a bit better, I think.
Almost. This normal scaling, so like Chill Touch was weaker. Yeah, because Firebolt goes up to 40, 10 at 17.
Yeah.
My bad.
Friends can now... go ahead.
No, by all means.
Friends now forces the target to make a save against being charmed briefly.
Cool.
I still kind of
range at 30 feet rather than 10 feet, and uses an attack roll rather than a saving throw. Also, does now necromancy.
30
feet's so much better. So that's I like
That's
that.
much nicer. Produce flame is now a bonus action, but the attack portion is still an action. The range of the light increases to 20 feet, and the range of the attack is increased to 60 feet. Also, the attack can now target creatures or objects. I don't love the fact that it is a bonus action or an action. I mean, like,
Well, I
it's...
think 1 minute. I'll look at it real.
Well,
I think
'cause
it's
produce
just to
flame,
produce the flame is the bonus action. Then to actually
yeah,
do the
attack is an action, yeah.
So I guess it gives you, theoretically, it gives you leniency in combat.
Yeah,
like, I want to
yeah.
produce flame, but I'm going to use my spell to actually do this.
Yeah,
you know?
because before you would cast as an action, and then it says later in the next turn you can then throw it. But now you can just be like bonus action, throw it. I like that. I like that it gives. more
Okay,
agency.
then never mind. I like that. I thought it was like you would cast it as an action. For produce flame, you could throw it in that same action. So I like that it's a bonus action to make it. Then you can chuck it.
Shillelagh now improves at higher levels.
At
And it
level,
gives you the option to deal force damage or the weapon's normal type.
Does Shillelagh not improve at higher levels?
nope, Shillelagh, you just would
That's ass. That's weird.
make your weapon gain like bonus. It would be based off of wisdom or something.
I like
But
the jump
now,
at level 11 it is D12 and at level 17 it is 2D6.
yeah,
Which is mechanically better.
but it's I like that it at least scales. That's nice that Shillelagh becomes more useful. Shocking Grasp now shuts down opportunity attacks rather than all reactions. Shutting down all reactions is too powerful for a cantrip. This cantrip has always been meant to provide partial disengage, which it still does. Does in this version, like other lightning spells, the spell also no longer makes distinction about whether or not the target is wearing metal.
Man,
Yeah, I don't love that, but I also get it because if your paladin's wearing plate, he's getting he's getting ringed up pretty often by it.
Yeah, fuck man. I think that should still be a thing.
I still think it should be a
wearing
thing. I
plate
get
armor.
it, but I hate it. This is a good one. I like. Spare the Dying is now a ranged rather than touch spell, and the range increases as you level up. The spell is also now on the druid list. Because Spare the Dying, I took very often as a player, and I don't think I ever used it because the frontliners just dropped, and I cannot get myself into combat as whatever spellcaster I'm playing. I cannot get myself to them, but I like it.
so it goes from touch to 15 feet. That's pretty good.
And then it scales up as you level.
It also no longer has a stipulation of this spell has no effect on undead or constructs, so you can technically do that.
True Strike, which was a dog shit spell, is now an attack with a weapon that uses your spellcasting ability rather than strength or dexterity. Instead of using your action to give yourself advantage on your action. Which mechanically, you could have just taken 2 shots at it for the price of advantage. I like that. Okay. If the attack deals damage, it can be radiant damage or the weapon's normal type. Your choice for True Strike. I like that. It also scales up the extra damage or radiant as you level.
Yeah, I think it's a good switch instead, because I don't think you could have made that balanced by even keeping the advantage at anything else. Because if you have a cantrip giving you advantage on attacks as a bonus action or anything else, it'd be insane. So I think they had to realistically switch that up, which is pretty good. Honestly, I don't like that I would prefer like kind of cool, like if it's a rarely used mechanic or portion of a spell. I mean, I think you should just like leave it. I mean, if it's never used, it's never used. But I think it's still cool to have it, the opportunity. Like I think that Chill Touch to still have that stipulation.
Yeah, I think there's things like we're not gonna use that rarely. Portion with metal, like those are parts of the things that I think make D&D really fun.
Right.
Like I think, for obvious reference, Baldur's Gate. Some of the most fun things you can do are synergies between water and different effects and oils on the ground and all that stuff. And part of that is from the language of the spells in D&D 5e. And so like taking that fun stuff is like, we're actually going to remove some of that because it's so rare. Well, yeah, it's so rare, but I want to reward my players for being clever. And if they're being clever because it's also backed up, at least in some portion in the spell description, that's cool. Chill touch isn't something I'd expect to be there, but
I think
they had it.
It's literally a tabletop role playing game. Part of me when Wizards of the Coast does stuff like this, part of me makes it feel like they're looking at it from a perspective as a video game, like you said, Baldur's Gate. Like if you just want to simplify things and change code and like get rid of some stuff, or maybe like for simplicity just remove it because it's a code and it's taking up a mechanic and it's taking up something, sure, but it's a tabletop game. Just leave it. Like there's literally like it's not like you're adding a sentence to a fucking piece of paper. Like then at least now there's the option to do it. It's not like you need to get rid of something like that to free up anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's kind of strange that they would even. But like I don't understand why you would get like if things are being underutilized, that's when you should either change that feature or add to it. I don't think you should negate it because it's just not used. I think it's cool, like you exactly just said. Like reward a player. Maybe they'll take this. You know, being like, okay, now I'm aware of that. Or maybe they'll take it in an instance of, okay, now I know I'm going against this thing. Let me go ahead and use it.
I will say, I understand taking it away from Chill Touch specifically, because Chill Touch is a really good damage cantrip.
Yeah.
Mainly because if you have a real bitch of a boss that keeps regenerating points, Chill Touch, no, he's not.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it was. Maybe they're trying to balance the cantrip too a little bit. Maybe that's what it is.
But yeah, and I get that. I think Blade Ward went from being bad to pretty good. I think True Strike is pretty okay. That's something that maybe like a spellcaster, like somebody who wants to play a frontline sorcerer, or even a warlock might want to take, depending. You know,
I think
a paladin could take it. You know, if they want to be a charisma heavy paladin and they realize they're kind of dumping their strength or dex. Oh, I want to attack now with my fucking spellcasting ability modifier.
Yeah, I think True Strike could be kind of a cool way to like, surpass some certain things. If like things are, if like certain things are holding you back.
But I want to point out, it is technically taking your action. So technically, if your normal attack would be 2, I think you might restrict you to 1 attack. So depending on the class you're playing, that might be, but that's just me reading it.
Right. I will say Blade Ward I feel like has a massive power jump, considering it's literally a free spell to impose disadvantage on a creature's melee attack. But I will say in that same token, it's only 1 attack. And I also will say that like D&D, the newer edition is kind of expanding a lot on reactions and stuff. And so I do think that reactions are actually going to be a lot more relevant in the future than they are like in 2014 earlier D&D. So I think that this could actually be in some ways not as powerful as you might think off of first glance, because they are opening the action economy.
Right. And I think that also helps, just as DMs we know how often players end up waiting for their turn,
right,
and having things they can do. Reactions typically mean they're attacking you, but sometimes be your ally if they're like keeping an eye out, because they're like, reaction, actually I use my shield ability, and get in there, protect my boy. It gives another reason for players to stay engaged when combat can be dragging on.
Right, which is actually, I think our first episode of Tavernside Talks was, about actions and how we kind of expanded the action economy. So if you have any interest in that, check out that video. But one last thing I found kind of strange is that Poison Spray is now a necromancy rather than a conjuration spell, which is interesting. Why? I guess, I don't know why that would be the case, but sure. Considering
Poisons be poisoning. I don't know, dude.
I don't know. But that's it.
I like this cantrips that we read today.
Yeah, I like the bits of the cantrips. I think they did a good job with a lot of them, and I mean, like, especially like Shillelagh making it a little bit better. But there's just still, it seems like some unnecessary changes being made. Yeah,
I will say I like that Friends now forces the target to make a save against being charmed briefly, instead of it being like, oh, they're charmed, but then all of a sudden they realize that you charmed them and now they're pissed. It's like, that's a dumbass mechanic, but I like that Friends is now like hey, real quick, you make a save. Oh, actually, hold on. I wanted to read that one real quick. You magically
go ahead.
You magically emanate a sense of friendship toward one visible creature within range. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the charm condition for the duration. The target succeeds automatically if it isn't a humanoid. The target succeeds on if you're fighting it, or if you have this cast it on, or if you have cast a spell on it within the past 24 hours. The spell ends early if the target takes damage, or if you make an attack roll, deal damage, or force it to make a saving throw. I love that it does not say, "Oh, they all of a sudden come to and they knew that you charmed them and now they're pissed." Like that's such a disruptive story beat, and it just makes the spells like that so fucking pointless, because then literally it's literally all risk, no reward in certain instances.
Yeah, I like playing casters that I wanted to kind of play like, I want to play like kind of the mind games here. I want to use my the spells that affect like cognitive functions of people. Friends, obvious choice. Then you read it and it goes like, actually never. I never found I had it on my spell sheet, but I never used it, only because like, the person's gonna be mad at me.
Yeah, why would I use that and immediately?
And also a little world breaking in the sense that someone just like comes out of this effect. Maybe it's like a very visceral thing they feel. They just go, somebody used the cantrip friends on me. Hey, dick. Hey. Yeah. And it's like, Farmer Bill.
It just highlights you and points an arrow to your head saying this fucker persuaded you.
Yeah. And I did, and I was wagging.
I think revising some cantrips. I mean, they've also revised a lot of spells and everything, which I mean that would just be a whole thing to even go through all there. But I think once a new edition comes out and looking at some of that stuff, but I do think. I mean, I don't think they've changed too many spells. I think they're making good tweaks to where it's like, hey, some things were worded weird, or some things were worded in a way that limited you, and I like that they're opening a lot of that. They're taking a lot of those action spells that were just fucking pointless, that like for instance True Strike, that was pointless, so they made it something different. I like when they're like, hey, we're basically altering spells or modifying spells to make them more beneficial, and it makes it more fun to actually be able to choose, and it makes it a benefit instead of just like a dead slot that you've selected. So
hell yeah.
All right. That's it.
I think we did good. We made it through Bastions.
We did make it through Bastions.
Honestly, it was a pleasure, but we made it through Bastions.
I think, well, and I mean, it gets the gears going a little bit too. I think that for me to personally homebrew a whole Bastion system and start going through there, that'd be a lot. And I'll personally say this, that until I'm not going to take on that endeavor until like maybe I want to use a Bastion system in a game, which is, I mean, I'm in the Max 20, we do like a lot of arcs, and so it's not usually long form campaigns, and so really Bastions wouldn't necessarily even be a relevant thing for how our games go. But if I ever take up a campaign later down the road, maybe by then they'll hopefully revise this, and maybe
you already have one Bastion you're a part of. It has a couple thrusters, a lot of fucking guns.
Oh yeah, boy! And it's in Star Wars fighting.
It does not have foundations. It be moving.
Yeah, it's in a completely different system. So
yeah, well that's kind of the whole point. It has nothing to do with anything fucking red.
All right, well, that is it for the time we have tonight. Nox is already dead asleep, like a nice, handsome boy, little sleeping angel. But appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Yeah, we made it through. We made it through this Unearthed Arcana. Maybe next time we'll do something new instead of digging through Unearthed Arcana, and
we'll do Bastions again.
Oh, we want to read through it again. Hey, for everyone who missed out, don't go watch the old video. We're going live. We're going to read it through it again. Right, no. Fuck no. Actually, no, we're not doing that. All right, we'll figure it out. Just stay posted, or keep your eyes out on the schedule on Twitch. And if you are curious about, the other rooms and other functions and why it is that we're so disappointed with Bastions, we have other YouTube videos that kind of highlight we go through all of it. It's obviously just previous episodes.
I particularly recommend the first one, because that's where you get into the meat of the Bastion, what we keep calling the battle point system.
Yeah. Understanding the battle point system would make a lot of this make a lot more sense, and why we hate it so much. Yeah. I would just like to say I love the fact that they literally created a whole new system, literally to give you, I think, isn't it like 3 options? It's literally just like you get a magic item and then you can come back to life, or you have advantage on charisma checks. You say you spread your vape?
Same, but depending on what you're doing.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I don't want to.
You know me now.
Oh man, Bastion took some years off my life. I think.
Bastions. I think the more UA we go the less my life expectancy becomes. One could argue it's because we do it week to week and the passage happens, but I don't think that. I think it's something more sinister.
Oh shit, dude! Do you think that the Wizards of the Coast AI is just siphoning our souls as we read this content?
I think parts of my being and body are going into a remote phylactery. I think is what's happening.
Do you think instead of firing those artists, they actually just killed them and put them in a vat?
I hope so. Better arc.
To feed the machine? Nah, better yet, a dragon landed on the headquarters of Wizards of the Coast because it's a random event.
That's where they got the idea. Someone was just kind of high walking in a world building, and they're just like, "Oh fuck yeah, I got it."
He said, "Oh fuck yeah."
It's like, yo, raises in my future, man.
Right.
Hell yeah. You're fired. All right. Anyway, once again, thanks everyone for hanging out. We'll catch you later. Check out the Twitch schedule for upcoming streams. Check out the YouTube channel for previous content. And until next time, we will catch you all later.